Tired of dealing with annoying flies, fruit flies, and gnats in your home? The Zevo flying insect trap is your ultimate solution. Don't wait. Check out the link in the video description now to get your Zevo flying insect trap on Amazon and enjoy a bug-free home today.
Radical anti-tourist protests led by hypocritical activists which have seen holidaymakers attacked with water pistols have divided Barcelona, but residents say this isn't the answer to solving the issue that is killing their city. The rowdy demos in Spain's second city are part of a wave of increasingly fraught protests across the country's mainland and islands against the ever-rising tide of tourism. Tourists in Barcelona have been forced to cower and flee from restaurants and bars on the famous La Rambla as they were taunted and fired at with water. The reaction to the high-profile demo has been divisive among residents. Some support the protests and are calling for further demonstrations to force authorities into taking action to reduce tourism, which they said was killing local neighborhoods and forcing residents out as companies cashed in by converting buildings into tourist flats. However, others say it's unfair and cruel to target individual tourists when the real problem is investors buying up property for holiday lets. Manuel Roman Campos, 49, a translator who lives in Barcelona, did not support drenching tourists. I don't think it is really fair to blame and annoy individual tourists for this global problem. We were all tourists at one time or another. But let's not overdo it. It was water pistols during a demonstration, not a real attack, he said. I am against this demonstration, but the problems we face due to mass tourism are much bigger because they mean people cannot live in their own towns. Mass tourism is killing the neighborhoods, here in Barcelona, as well as throughout the world. He added, but our real enemies are vulture funds that buy whole buildings no matter who lives there and slowly throw tenants out. It is not as simple as saying there is tourism phobia in Barcelona and we hate tourism. No, what we hate is the huge corporations taking away our neighborhoods and our lives. Catherine Newton, 51, a teacher who is from Edinburgh but who has lived in Barcelona for 22 years, said tourism was out of control. I have watched tourism grow every year and the situation is out of control. Local people cannot afford to live in their own city, she said. The hotel and the tourism industry make billions every year and should reinvest in the city, by example investing in social housing. There needs to be a long-term solution to reduce tourism so local people can claim their city back. Ariadna Coden, 56, economist, called for Spanish authorities to take action to reduce tourism. I think it was necessary to demonstrate against mass tourism and its effects on the people who live here, she said. The total inaction of authorities meant people went out on the streets to show they are sick of it. But it is also happening in Palma, Malaga, and the Canary Islands, where their population is demonstrating against an industry which we are suffering from. Helen Aurora, 31, a voice actor, said, I think this was a necessary protest to show nationally and internationally the problem that we have had for some time in Barcelona. The impossibility of affordable housing, the robbery that is renting, the evictions and the pollution which we suffer are shameful. Even more shameful is that they call us ungrateful. What idiot would be grateful for this? Joan Manuel del Llano, 46, biologist, said, I support the demonstration against mass tourism and I hope there are many more. What is at stake is the future of the city. Others called for diverting tourists from the city center. Jordi Miris Lopart, 47, communicator and cultural manager, said, Barcelona is one of the most visited cities in Europe, but tourism has saturated some areas, which affects the heritage and the quality of life of some of its citizens and tourists. To improve the situation, we must diversify tourism to other parts of the city and other parts of Catalonia. A restaurateur, who did not want to give her name, told Mail Online, I would say 90% of these protesters are hypocritical as they all go on holidays. A huge majority of Spaniards do not think the same as these protesters. It is the political mismanagement that is to blame, and anti-tourist feeling is easy to stir. Mateu Hernandez, Director General of the Barcelona Tourism, said the demonstration was a failure. In other places tens of thousands demonstrated in the Canary Islands, the Balia,